Welcome back to the Resilient Philosopher. I am the Leon Dantes, and today we are going to explore one of the most overlooked truths in our lives and in leadership. Everyone has an end game. Sometimes it is obvious, sometimes it is subtle, sometimes it's hidden even from ourselves. But every decision, every silence, every conversation has a direction. It has an endgame. Today, I want to awaken your curiosity about your own endgame because the question is not if you have one, you already do. The real question is, are you aware of it? Let's start with clarity. Endgame is not simply about the final move in a chess match or the closing act of life. Endgame is about the hidden outcome behind your every move. There are two types: conscious endgames, the parent chasing, raising children with intention, the leader mentoring so the next generation can rise, and the writer leaving words for another era. Now, unconscious endgames. The person chasing validation through empty titles, the leader burning bridges just to hold power, the lover who drifts into silence until the relationship collapses. Both lead somewhere, but only one leads to resilience and legacy. As I reflect on my philosophy, everything can be nothing, but nothing can't be everything. If your end game is built on illusion, it will collapse into nothing. But if your end game is built on truth, even failure will leave behind wisdom, scars that become maps for those who follow. Think about the biggest decision you've made this year. What was your end game behind it? Did you know it at that time? Or are you only realizing it now? Take a 30-second reflection on those questions. I've had people say to me, why would someone ask me that question? And my answer is always the same. Think of their end game. Behind every question is intention. Someone asks if you're happy at work. Their end game may be care or may be curiosity for leverage. Someone compliments you. The end game may be admiration or manipulation. Someone criticizes you. Their end game may be to help you grow or to project their own insecurity. The resilient leader listens beyond the words because words are never empty. Even silence has an end game. As I wrote in The Resilient Philosopher, the one who lacks words speaks the most. The ones with the most words listen. Everything in silence will be loud. Everything loud will be gone with the wind of time. So ask yourself, when people speak to you, do you only hear the words or do you also perceive the silence behind them? Think about the last hard question someone asked you. Instead of answering, ask what was their end game? What did they stand to gain? These are questions to reflect upon and give yourself time to think about them. Let's take this from theory to practice. You're a supervisor, one of your team members comes to you frustrated, complaining about their team leader. You've noticed some of the same issues from afar. Now you have a leadership crossroad. Here are the end games. The team members' end game: relief, recognition, or removal of a poor leader. The team leader's end game: protection of authority, avoidance of blames, or genuine desire to improve. Your end game as a supervisor is either building a united team, strengthening trust, ensuring growth. Possible outcomes. The team member is not fit. The team leader is not ready for leadership, or with mentorship, both grow and the team is stronger than before. This is what I call endgame alignment. In my book, I wrote, to follow blindly is to forfeit both dignity and integrity. Leaders forge paths, but it is the philosopher who compels them to seek the path not for themselves but for the good of others. Leadership isn't about reacting to complaints. It's about aligning multiple end games towards a greater unity. Reflect on this. If you're in a leadership role, think of the current conflict in your team. What is your end game? What is theirs? How can you align them into one? An end game without a compass drifts into chaos. The compass defines whether our outcome serves truth or ego. Your compass might be fear, it might be pride, but it can also be resilience in integrity. As I wrote, a person who learns from their mistake doesn't minimize them or deflect them. They embrace them, own them, and grow through them. Every truly successful person has walked through the fire of failure. The difference is they didn't pretend it didn't burn. They learned how to rise from the ashes. That is the resilient compass. History teaches this too. Solomon sought wisdom, but his endgame faltered when desire overshadowed discipline. Marcus Aurelius sought virtue, guiding Rome with philosophy through chaos. Nelson Mandela sought reconciliation over vengeance, and his endgame became a model for nations. Reflect on this. What is the compass guiding your endgame right now? Is it fear? Is it ego? Or is it resilience? Every relationship has an endgame. Sometimes it is spoken, let's build a family, let's create a future. And sometimes it is hidden. Don't want to be alone. I need validation. I can't let go. When words fade, silence writes the story. A couple stops speaking, a friendship stops showing up, a parent stops listening. The end game of silence is always louder than words. As I reflect, everything in silence will be loud, and everything loud will be gone with the winds of time. Silence, resignation, avoidance, these are also endgames. But resilience means breaking them, speaking, and rewriting the outcome. Reflect on this. What is the end game of your closest relationship? Is it growth or is it resignation? Is it conscious or unconscious? So, how do we move from unconscious drift to conscious leadership of our own end games? Three questions. What do they gain? What do I gain? And what is greater gain for all? Write it down, sit with it, revisit it often. As I wrote in The Resilient Philosopher, The Prism of Reality, sit, reflect, and write it down. Another generation will be thankful. Awareness is not just for yourself, it is for those who will inherit the impact of your endgame. Everyone has an endgame. You cannot escape it. The question is whether you are drifting unconsciously or shaping it with resilience. Align your endgame with truth, with service, with integrity. That is how legacy is built. If what you've heard today resonates with you, I invite you to go deeper in my book, The Resilient Philosopher, The Prism of Reality, and its pages, you'll find the principles and reflections that guide this philosophy. Alongside, I published Leadership Lessons from the Edge of Mental Health, The Resilient Mind Build One, and Mastering the Self, The Resilient Mind, Volume 2. You can find them along with the blog and podcast archives on my website, visionleon.com. Because your end game deserves awareness, your end game deserves resilience. This is the Resilient Philosopher. Until next time, and remember, always show up for yourself.